So the reality is Kerry is a phenomenal leader. When I met Kerry, she really opened my eyes in regards to how she was leading her organization. As I mentioned, they're a chemical cleaning, I could be wrong, chemical cleaning company out of Colorado. And I was really intrigued by how Kerry has taken this organization and morphed it into an employee-owned company. And when we were looking to sell our company a long time ago, we looked at an ESOP. We looked at a lot of different ways of how to doing it. So I was really intrigued on how she was able to pull that off. So Kerry, thank you so much for joining us today on my podcast. I always enjoy my time with you. So tell us a little bit about the ownership mindset. So talk to me about why you were inspired to write this book and how it's really impacted you and your culture within your organization.
Sure. So the ownership mindset is the mindset that I am responsible for everything that happens in my life. Things don't happen to me, they happen because of me. And it, in my opinion, is the most empowering mindset that you can have, because when you take personal responsibility, even if something happens that you have no control over, you still are responsible for how you respond to it. And that's the only thing that we can really own, right? Is our actions, our responses, our communication, our effort. That's what the ownership mindset is. And I have learned just how powerful it is because it helped me change my life. When I was in my 20s, I had substance abuse issues, which was accumulation of a lot of things: childhood trauma, a very driven, ambitious personality, the need to prove myself and want to be recognized, and I used substances to cope with being really unhappy and miserable because of the combination of all of these things. And on Labor Day of 2006, I accidentally overdosed. And what came from all of this as I started to really examine my life on whether or not I wanted to live or if I wanted to die. And if I wanted to live, how did I want to live? I really became clear that I had this victim mentality, that I wasn't really owning my situation and my decisions and taking responsibility for where I was. And so I embarked on this journey of deciding that, I'm going to own it. I'm going to be true to myself. I'm going to stop pretending to be what I think other people need me to be. And I am going to take responsibility for my life. That, at the same time, happened when I got hired by StoneAge, by the founders, to take over their company, which is a crazy story, but it happened just a few months after my overdose. They did not know my story at the time. They know it now. And it was an employee-owned company where it was encouraged to think and act like owners. And so how perfect is it in my journey that I am personally owning it, and now I get to work for a company where I actually get to own it, and that we create this whole ethos around owning it. And so that's how it all started to come together. And it wasn't what it is today back then. Obviously, it's evolved over the past 18 years since I came to work at StoneAge and embarked on this journey of healing and recovery and taking responsibility for my life. But that's really where it started. That's the origin story of the ownership mindset.
That's amazing. So there's so many things to unravel here. Okay. So let's just get started and jump into it. So talk about, you started talking about initially, it was really that take responsibility for my own actions. And you weren't really in the business side. It was more personally. And so as you've engrossed as the CEO and continue to grow this organization, are you working with your teams to not only utilize that professionally, but also personally? And if so, how?
Yes, absolutely. So it's really hard to own anything in leadership if you don't have good self-leadership. If you're not owning your own actions, your own leadership, the way that you're showing up. So I think that leadership always starts with self-leadership. And if you think about self-leadership, right, we're doing it every day, whether we're doing it well or we're doing it poorly. And so to be a great people leader, you have to be a great self-leader. So it starts with the self. And then, as you build upon your self-leadership skills, it makes it so much easier to role model the kinds of behaviors and actions that you want to see in others and inspire them to also own it, which is, how you start to create this whole ownership thinking mindset within your culture. And so, I think that it always has to start with the individual and thinking about and asking them, what do you want with your life? What's important to you? What are you good at? What do you not want to do? What are your dreams and your goals? And then let's figure out how to help you get there through your career, because let's face it, like how we work, that's the mode, right? The vehicle for us to be able to create the life that we want. And so, yeah, I believe that they're intertwined, that you can't really separate personal development and professional development. We can develop as professionals, but we have to be willing to grow as human beings, which is the personal development side of it.